Good morning and welcome back to a new school year. I'm hoping the summer offered you an opportunity to recover, rest, and restore. Sometimes rest is the most important form of self-care we can offer ourselves, especially after a school year that demanded so much from us. I am so excited to be here today and welcoming you all to the new year. And while we are returning to our buildings with the remnants of some of the mitigation strategies to prevent the spread of COVID-19, one thing is for sure: this year is far less complex than last year. Your principals and administrators and all of you have been working hard preparing to welcome our students back into full in-person learning 5 days a week. We're all excited for the opportunity to connect and celebrate learning together. Today at your buildings, you'll welcome some new members to your staff. I had the chance to meet most of you at the new teacher orientation this past week. I once again want to welcome you, and I look forward to seeing you in your classrooms. Before I give my formal remarks, I want to turn the microphone over to our guests this morning. First, we'll hear from Mayor Mike Cahill as he joins us to welcome you all back, and then School Committee President Rachel Abel with her reflections on a new school year.
Where's that camera, Dr. Trochik? Straight ahead? Good morning, everybody. Listen, I've got to admit, this day has kind of snuck up. And I will say this for everybody. I hope that you've had a lot of fun this summer. I hope you've done some things to, as Dr. Trochik said, really recharge. But also, it's good to get tired having fun as well. I will tell you that for me, this summer was, it was really quick. Had some fun doing things like playing disc golf up in Stowe, Vermont. If you haven't been to the disc golf course at the Von Trapp Brewery up in Stowe, you got to give it a try. I had a great afternoon of 36 holes with my nephews one day recently. Mini golf, and you got to go, you don't have to go far to find mini golf around here. A few trips to the beach and out on the water. I, like a lot of us, had a trip deferred this summer that I would have liked to have taken, but it'll come. It'll happen sometime in the not too distant future. So I do hope everybody's had a fantastic summer. I trust and hope and have confidence that you're all ready to fly today and tomorrow, and as our students come in later this week. To me, I think the most important message I want to share with you folks is that you have been amazing. The work that you've done over these last 18 months with all the kids that we care about and that we're responsible for, you've just been amazing. We've spent a lot of time experiencing it, seeing it, hearing from you, talking it through at the school committee level and with the superintendent and her team. There's so many different ways that you had to respond and pivot and adapt. You've just been unbelievable, and we all are incredibly grateful. And the key to it is that our kids needed you desperately over these last 18 months, and you really rose up, responded, and gave them what they needed in every way. And the reality is that they need you again. They need you again right now. And so we know how important you are, and I want you to know that for me as your mayor, and I know for my colleague, School Committee President Rachel Abel, and our colleagues on the school committee, we try every day to support you in every way we can, because we know the work you do is some of the most important work that anyone does in this community. And then, as for COVID, we'll get there. I think it's obviously everybody would have loved to have it be gone and in the rear view, and that's not quite the case yet. And that's not surprising. If you spend time looking back at other pandemics in history, they run their course. There is a course, and we're in that process now. So we're not quite through it, but we'll be there. We'll get there. And in the meantime, we have to keep doing the things that make sense. And I know that we have not only an incredibly resilient group of students, we have an equally resilient team of educators in our community. And so I know that at times it's not easy. At the same time, you are rested, you are ready to go. I know that. And I know the kids are excited. Maybe some of them want summer to last a few more days, but hey, we'll get them back in the buildings, and I'm excited to see you do your amazing work with them. So in terms of how to view this year, I'm sure you already are viewing it this way. Our glass is way more than half full. And as long as we keep an even keel, as long as we, stay focused and don't get too high or too low about things on a day-to-day basis, I think we're going to have a fantastic year. I really look forward to getting in the buildings and seeing you in action in the coming days and weeks. And I know that you're going to deliver fantastic education for our kids. And I know you're going to do everything you can to keep them safe physically, emotionally, and give them the chance to really grow and shine. So thank you all so much. I can't wait to see you in person in the coming weeks. Thanks. And
Thank you, Mayor Cahill. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Welcome back. Despite New England's damper than average summer, I hope each of you found ways to have an enjoyable break. And unlike Memorial Day weekend and the 4th, let's keep our fingers crossed that Labor Day weekend gives us a little extra bonus. So while our time away from daily work is nice, it tends to make our return far more meaningful and intentional. I know a couple of middle schoolers who may or may not be working on their book projects this moment that are so eager to meet their teams and be back in the space where they belong. Even before the pandemic, our district was taking great strides to implement SEL strategies to help foster our students' connections to our schools, to coax them into a growth mindset, and so they were ready for achievement. In some ways, the pandemic may have derailed some of our efforts, but in other ways, it certainly has bolstered our conviction and brought acuity to the variety of needs that our students have. Whether your students are going to need help with responsible decision-making or self-management, or whether they need to work on self-worth and self-awareness or social awareness, and whether they need to work on their relationship building or communications, I'm sure that you're up for the challenge. You have managed to put into practice a variety of techniques over the past year and a half, and you've done things in ways that you never probably imagined you would. You have learned more about yourself and your craft than ever anticipated. And I want to thank you for this because you have been role models of growth mindset, problem solving, and resiliency. I imagine that your students will have a little catching up to do, and it's more than that academic core. Students really will need your help in catching up on their social skills. They need to relearn how to foster those positive relationships with their peers and with their trusted adults. A huge piece of your year will likely be spent helping re-navigate effective communication and reestablishing productive problem solving. And I think this will lead to fostering teamwork and collaboration in entirely more meaningful ways. So thank you. I want to thank you in advance for this year's extra level of patience with our students. You will undoubtedly be practicing patience, and you will have full days and full plates again. So please know that we are all here for you, and remember that the students belong here and you belong here. Welcome back. And with that, Dr. Chirocek.
Thank you, Mayor Cahill and Rachel, for joining us to kick off the new year. I appreciate all that both of you do, and particularly for the support that the school committee has provided us throughout the years. I'm honored and humbled by the opportunity to work in Beverly, and I'm grateful to both of you for your support and your friendship. I do want to take this opportunity to share some of my thoughts as we begin the year together. It's rare to have the stage, though not literally this year, but we will see each other tomorrow, and the chance to share my reflections to all of you at once. So much has happened since I addressed all of you in September of 2019. No one could have imagined what we would face, but I want you to know that I feel blessed to have faced it with all of you. There's no doubt that the pandemic will prove to be one of the most significant events of our lifetime and the lives of the students that will sit in front of us this year. And while for most it has caused many to change their behaviors, the pandemic may have had the greatest impact on the one thing we all rely upon for consistency and structure, the educational system that is our life. It is true, this last school year has, in some ways, been a form of collective trauma for many of our students and families, and its impact will be with our communities for years to come. Despite the pandemic, however, we learned a few things about our practices, and among them was how to help educate students in different contexts. I'm appreciative of what each of you accomplished in the last school year. From spending more time in instruction to enhance student learning, to visiting families to check on their welfare, to engaging parents and our wider community members in our efforts, and in supporting colleagues in multiple ways, thank you all for your efforts to advance our district. Each of you exemplifies what it means to be a remarkable educator. As we embark on an exciting new school year, we now have the chance to apply all that we learned these past 17 months, to take what we learned, to apply the strategies we found to be most helpful, and to connect with all our students, giving each what he, she, or they need to be successful in school and in subsequent life. You may have heard Dr. Flaherty and I refer to the silver linings of the pandemic. Despite the challenges, there have been things that we discovered as we adapted to the need to do school differently, things that we can now apply to improve how we run our schools and indeed improve our own individual practice. Some may be as simple as how we communicate with parents, and others how we plan together with colleagues. Today, I want to take the opportunity to reflect with all of you how we can use this opportunity, this reopening, to examine how we can identify some of these through the lens of equity. I don't have to tell you that the inequities in education have been pervasive for a long time. The evidence is in the data that we've collected. I don't have to tell you that the pandemic exacerbated these inequities, not only in education, but in other critical areas such as physical and mental health, economic stability, and food security. Well, at the Beverly Schools, we have the opportunity to do something about it. This is a moment in education to boldly address the patterns of inequity that we know can be found in some of our schools. This is our moment to ensure that we reopen, reinvest, and reimagine our schools differently and better than ever before. As superintendent, I don't want us to go and accept and resign ourselves to going back to how things were, because if that happens, we would be returning to a system where we can predict outcomes based on race and place, where the color of your skin, zip codes, and socioeconomic status may be better determinants of outcomes than the actual aptitude of learners. To that end, I want to share a part of my vision to advance our district and its primary stakeholders, our students. This year, at our administrative retreat, each administrator was asked to identify a passion project, one that aligns with our district goals, but more importantly, is something that we want to personally advance. For me, the choice was easy. After spending much of last year reviewing the equity audit and developing the new district improvement plan, there's one area that continues to give me pause, one area that will be my primary goal throughout this year. I want to share that with you today. I want to see us increase the number of students who are given access to the advanced level coursework. Let me say that again. I want to see us increase the number of students who are given access to the advanced level coursework. In our audit, one of the data points we reviewed indicated that many of our students at high school are either taking multiple advanced level coursework or all basic level coursework. That raised a question that I believe we all need to examine. Why is that? Why is it predominantly one or the other? What is prohibiting many of our students from participating? We know that the research shows that when students are given access to advanced courses, they work harder and engage more in school, leading to fewer absences and suspensions and higher graduation rates. That may sound on the surface to be something that we'll address at the high school through the course selection process. However, I bring it forward today because I truly believe this begins as soon as you enter our district, preschool, kindergarten, or anytime we welcome new students. Research also shows that when students are identified and leveled in programming at the elementary level, the same pattern continues when they're denied access to 8th grade algebra. The impact also continues in high school when these students are rarely given the chance to participate in the advanced coursework. They're missing out on critical opportunities that can set them up for success in college or career. That's why all students must have access to and be supported in these advanced courses. As we consider this for our students, we must have the difficult conversations about how to build back better, how to lead in a transformative way, and how to use our resources to ensure that students receive the support they need to be successful. Each of us has the measure and the skill set to suggest, design, and implement impactful change. As a collective district team, we have the innovation and creativity to reimagine the way education is offered to each and every student. My emphasis on advanced courses is about providing all students from all backgrounds with the resources and support they need to succeed and thrive in our society. It's about providing them with the pathways that enable them to contribute to their communities, to make the world a better place. Access is not a passing buzzword, but an ongoing, continuous effort to make sure that every student feels supported in their classrooms in every educational environment. To advance opportunity, access, and equity, we must innovate, sharing promising practices and working together to create the education system that all of our students deserve, a system where our students are at the center. We have often heard, and maybe even exclaimed ourselves, that education is a great equalizer. Here in Beverly, let's make it our goal to make sure that we prove it. I'm looking forward to seeing most of you tomorrow as we welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Deborah Jewel Sherman, and a student-led presentation that should get us off to a great start. Thank you. I look forward to a phenomenal school year. Have a great day at your buildings, and we'll hopefully be around to see you there. Thank you.